ESPN's Stephen A. Smith has announced that he is considering running for president in 2028. Now, I have some thoughts about that. Now, obviously, based on the current Constitution, Donald Trump cannot run for president in 2028. Joe Biden can. Barack Obama cannot. Kamala Harris can. And anybody who is a natural born United States citizen over the age of 35 can. Stephen A. Smith does fit that description. We've had 90 days or less of the current presidency. It is not the time to be thinking about who we are going to vote for next year or next time. Now is the time, not even for midterms to be happening. There are some countries where elections are called and you have a 90-day area to do a campaign. I believe Canada and Australia operate on something like that. And I think the United States should move to a system like that due to just... it would stop a lot of the issues we're having with just it basically being just a really long rally, and then the president in their first term has to spend most of their effort trying to get reelected. And then in their second term, they can try to do things, but then they're seen as less popular because the other person is running, and also their replacement for their party is running, and it's a mess. I don't like that. Moving on to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, I think, is potentially one of the only people who is less qualified to be president than Donald Trump, simply because Stephen A. Smith's qualifications are being loud and wrong about sports, whereas Donald Trump is loud and wrong about everything else, and it's a mess. Stephen A. Smith takes a lot of time to just make wrong takes about things on ESPN. He got into a huge fight with LeBron James over his treatment of Bronny, which was ridiculous that even happened. I don't think that that's an appropriate thing to have happen, and it is very important for us to understand that Stephen A. Smith was rude in that situation, and LeBron was in the clear and correct in what he did with the response. Yeah, it happened at a basketball game at LeBron's work, but like, where else were you going to be able to do something like that? Is LeBron going to go on ESPN and be like, yo, Stephen A., shut up, stop talking about my kid? And then Stephen A. is just going to be like, nope, that's not going to happen. And it's really unfortunate that that's how that happened. Stephen A. has absolutely no political experience whatsoever. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's necessarily a bad thing in general, but when you want to become president and you have no political experience and your only real thing that got you famous is being loud and wrong on debate shows, I don't really see how you can use that to be president. I have no idea who I'm going to vote for president in 2028. I just know who I'm not voting for president in 2028, and that's Donald J. Trump, because it would be illegal for him to run. But when I get the ticket, I'll make my decision. If the ticket's between, I don't know, Rand Paul and Stephen A. Smith, I don't think I'd even know what to do. I'd have to find out what Stephen A.'s policies are. If it's, I mean, I kind of know what Rand Paul's policies are, and I don't agree with most of them, other than the part where we shouldn't tariff people, which a lot of the Republicans are like, this is not okay, because they're seeing the money go away. And Stephen A. is a rich person because he makes a lot of money as a media personality, which I do think he deserves the money. He brings in a lot of money to ESPN, but I don't know how much money he's lost in stocks over the last 3 weeks. But I can see a lot of rich people potentially throwing their hat in. I don't know if you remember when Mitt Romney ran for president with Bain Capital, which was supposed to be one of the first $1 trillion companies, and he was potentially going to be the world's first trillionaire. And now we've got the world's richest man, Elon Musk. Basically running a shadow government. Elon can't be elected president, so I'm not voting for him in 4 years. But at this point, I don't know, and it's way too early. So, Stephen A., please focus on your actual job of doing sports and sports commentary, because, like, it's gonna... I don't want to turn ESPN on and it's just Stephen A. Smith being like, and this is what I'd do if I were president of the United States. But I do think ESPN would make a lot of money if they did that, so I have a feeling that ESPN's gonna lean into this. So, yeah, that'll be interesting.